Many say para-unity is a myth. Many believe that the paranormal community is toxic, filled with egos, know-it-alls, and wannabe celebrities. Let's clear the air here and now. This thing we call para-unity is what we make it. Tonight, let's do something different. Welcome to Necromancer Live. Hello and welcome to the Necromancer Live Show. I'm your host, Justin Brown, and we are here for episode 89, and we're going to talk to the one and only Daryl Marston again. And there's a reason for the repeat of Daryl. Of course, if you haven't heard, he's on TV now. So I guess what I'm going to do now is I'll go to his website and we'll read his bio. But thanks for everybody that's chiming in. Feel free to share, like, give me all your money. I'm just joking, but we're going to have fun tonight. Let's see if we can read this off, because I liked how this reads, and it kind of catches us up, gets us up to speed. So Daryl began his paranormal career with his wife Melanie, in 2008, investigating local places of the East Coast. What started as simple curiosity developed into a passion in paranormal investigation, and he has been investigating ever since. Daryl founded the investigative paranormal team Breaking Paranormal in 2011. With his team, they investigated some of the most haunted locations on the East Coast, such as the House of Wells, the Anderson Hotel, Madison Seminary, the Hinsdale House, Eastern State Penitentiary, Haldeman Mansion, and many more. In 2016, Daryl started the American Ghost Hunter Show, a live stream talk show. His colleague from Breaking Paranormal, Greg, joined him as co-host, and eventually his friend from the UK, Alex, and Helena, completed the lineup. Today, the show will currently air on Paranormal Warehouse via their Facebook page, with Alex taking over from Daryl as main host. They conduct live investigations as well, interview people from the paranormal industry. Through AGHS, Daryl interviewed countless paranormal celebrities and experts in the field. It was while hosting on the show that he was handpicked to audition for Ghost Hunters. He is now honored to be traveling to paranormal locations across the country as co-lead investigator on the brand new reboot, which starts on the A&E Network in August. So we're now, let's go here. We're now on season 2. So maybe that needs to be updated a little bit, right, on the website?
It should be. I haven't been on my own website in probably 8 or 9 months, man. So yeah, it's probably time to update that a little bit.
All right. So I just gave you more work. I told you this wasn't going to be about work, and I lied already. But man, I want to start this off by saying, yeah, I am very proud of you.
Nice,
This could not have happened to a better person, and I am super stoked that you are into season 2, and I hope that it just keeps on going. And if you love it, I want you to keep doing it. It is
Your
awesome.
audio is really choppy, Justin.
Oh, that's not good at all. Let me see if I can fix that. See if it's on this side. USB mic. Check. It's okay. It's not that. Let's see if it is choppy. That sucks. Is Daryl choppy?
Hello.
I don't think so. I do not think so. But we'll just keep going. Maybe I'll just let you talk the whole time. I do know we have Jess and Missy helping moderating the comments on YouTube and Facebook. So if you have questions for Derek, we love that. If we don't get to it right away, just be patient. We'll get to it, but we want to get to everybody's questions, because I know Daryl will probably enjoy answering them. Try to come up with interesting, thought-provoking questions. But of course, if there's something that you just have to know, then just within reason, go ahead and ask. But thank you for being on the show again, man. I know you're super busy. I know you can just say no now that you're famous to anybody you want to. So how are we going to? Yeah, I know. I'm joking. So how are we going to start this off, man? Let's start it off with, okay, how in the heck did this whole ghost hunters thing started, because we kind of went over your bio, how you got into it, so we don't need to spend too much time there. But let's hear about how in the heck that got started, because I heard you explaining it on the other show, and it was a little bit funny, the story.
Yeah, it was actually funny. I mean, you know me. I've been on your show before. You've been on the American Ghost Hunter show, and I was completely fine with doing that, man. And this all of a sudden one night, about 7:00 at night, I get a phone call. My phone's sitting on my island in my kitchen. I'm playing Nerf War with my son in the kitchen, and I look over. I hear it vibrating, and I look over, and it says, you know how if you don't have the number saved in your contact, it says maybe. It says maybe Pilgrim Media. I'm like, where do I get that name from? Pilgrim Media. And I'm like, so I let it go to voicemail, and I did whatever. And next thing I know, they left a message, and it was a producer from Pilgrim. Name was Nick. He called and said, hey, we're interested in interviewing you for a paranormal show. At the time, they didn't say what paranormal show. And then it dawned on me that they were the guys who did Ghost Hunters. I said, oh, cool, yeah. So we played phone tag back and forth. Next thing I know, I'm doing all these different interviews for them through Skype and on the phone and this and that. And then I'm flying to LA. I'm doing interviews out there. And then next thing I know, I get the call. They said, oh, you got the job. Congratulations. And this was a Monday. You start on Sunday. So I literally had like 5 or 6 days to totally wrap up my life and get everything together so I could hit the road. And our first one was like a month long. So you roll out, you're on the road filming for a month, and it's been going steady ever since. We just wrapped season 2, not last Friday, but the Friday before. And man, I tell you, season 2, there's nothing I'm more proud of than I've done in the paranormal in season 2. I'm so proud of the team. I'm so proud of everybody on the team, the crew, the producers who are involved, and it's just going in the direction we always wanted to go in with season 1. But season 2 is actually going in that direction now. We got there, and there's going to be 9 or 10 episodes, and it's just, they're all amazing. Only one of them has ever been on TV before. It's a huge location that everybody wants to see come back. Everybody knows about it already because they mentioned it at the end of last season, Waverly Hills. So we went back there and we solved some things there. We figured some things out. I don't know if we solved them, but we figured them out. And I tell you, man, we are so stoked, and we just can't wait for all the people out there who view the show and love the show to actually see how much work went into season 2. There's no way I can even explain how much work went into it, because these locations are, none of them have ever been on TV. They're way off the grid. They're desolate. They're some of these places take 3 or 4 flights just to get to, and then once you get there, you have to drive 5 or 6 hours. And then once you get to your hotel, you're another hour or 2 just away from the location that you got to drive to every day.
Right.
So, I mean, these locations are just so far off the grid, man, and it's just amazing. Like, we went to places like Alaska and Colorado, and these places are way, way amazing places. The way they're shooting the show is completely different, and the way I've been explaining it, especially at events. I've been explaining it to people when I'm going to these events that if you remember the first time you saw The Shining, and I know for me, The Shining was probably one of the best horror movies ever made, from written by Stephen King and everything. It's got that eerie feel about it. It's got these amazing shots, these mountain views, and where they just zone right. They come out of a mountain, and this drone shot just shoots right down to your vehicle. Things like that, man, it just blow your mind how they filmed it. And it's all done by our crew, man, on scene. And it's amazing.
Sounds like it'd be a lot of fun, but still a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Had they ramped up how, like, I know you can't talk about some things until season 2 starts. So what can you say? What can you say about what has changed that you haven't already said about season 2? Like, did you bring in more, like, different methodologies, different equipment, different, like, people that are, like, maybe experts in certain fields? Like, I mean, how did you ramp it up?
All
Okay.
the above, especially equipment, new
Hmm.
equipment. New equipment has never been used in a It's been around for a long time. It's just never been used in the paranormal. It's been used by scientists, NASA engineers, NASA scientists. We're bringing in stuff that you can't buy on Amazon or at one of these sites online where they build paranormal equipment. And this stuff is not used in the paranormal field until now. And this stuff is, once we're capturing what we've captured, we've actually sent it off to, award-winning scientists, people who've actually, been nominated for Nobel Prizes and things of that nature, and to look at it, who've worked with these equipment, and they say, and when they come back to you and say, I can't explain it, then, then what do you got? If it's not normal, it's paranormal. And man, I tell you, I can't say how proud I am of the stuff that we're doing now in season 2. I mean, season 1 was great. Don't get me wrong. We were getting our feet wet. We were, kind of learning, how we were going to do this whole thing. We did some amazing places, but man, the places we're going to now, it's just, I don't know how we're going to top it. I just don't know how we're going to top season 2. I just don't. I mean, I know we will. And it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of time and effort. I mean, there's places we went to where we had to fly, 15, 16 hours. You get there and you got to take a 4-hour boat ride just to get to the location. And you're stuck there for 11, 12 days. These places are, just amazing. The scenery is amazing. The history is amazing. The evidence we're capturing there is amazing, because you got to remember, you're a paranormal investigator. When you go to a location that's never been investigated before, and it's got this high activity, the activity is insane. I mean, because they're not
Hmm.
used to you actually trying to make contact with them. They're not used to somebody trying to make contact with them, especially if they've never been investigated before. And that's what we're finding. These next 9 or 10 episodes you see on season 2, are going to blow your mind.
Well, I've been checking out season 1. Now, just for you guys' record, I'm going to try to troubleshoot my mic audio as we go. If I try to turn off some plugins and some effects, so if that doesn't help, let me know in the chat. Then I might have to remove my microphone source and add it again. I'm going to have to do it on the fly. But it always sucks because the audio is the last thing you want to be bad. But
Yeah.
I have been checking out season 1 Ghost Hunters, and you definitely get that same feel of, not everything's paranormal. You want to look at things, critically, logically, with some objectivity, but you still see some of the spirit of, the original Ghost Hunters on there. What do you think the main difference is from the Travel Channel version to the A&E reboot? What's made it better in your eyes?
I mean, the old way they did things was great. That was state of the art for its time. That was, they did things right. They really did. We're taking it to the next level. I mean, it's evolved so much over the paranormal field over the last 5 or 10 years, and you kind of have to put the old way of doing things behind you, and you bring a whole different outlook to it, as far as the people you bring into it. You've got investigators. None of us ever worked with each other before, except for Brian and Rochelle. They're the only two who's ever worked with each other before. None of us even knew the other ones existed. And then you bring all these people together, and they have all these different outlooks on how the paranormal field goes and how it runs. And then you put it all together and you meet in the middle, and you bring this amazing new equipment in for season 2. New ways of doing things, new experiments. Some are old experiments that haven't been done in 30 years, 40 years. And then it just makes such a great chemistry between all of us. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're all like brothers and sisters. We fight, we argue, we cry together, we laugh together, we have a great time, we love each other. But that's what makes us good at what we do, because we do that, and we bring it, we try our best to bring it out on the show and on the investigation, so that people can, when they're watching, they see the real side of it. They see, like, the heartfelt side of it, the way we feel about our love, just like your love for, you've been doing this live stream for a long time now, and you have a love for it, just like we have a love for the show, especially on season 2. And I can't wait for season 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, whatever comes our way. And just we're just trying to bring the paranormal feel back to a point where it's, or I shouldn't say back to a point, because I don't know if it ever was at this point, but we're trying to make it to where it's respected by people outside the paranormal field, by scientists, by skeptics, and people of that nature, where they can actually look at it, and take it from a pseudoscience to a science at some point here, hopefully in the future. And that's what we're trying to do on the show. One step at a time, one investigation at a time, one episode, whatever we want to call it.
Right, and I definitely look forward to that. And I think that's always been the premise of the show, is that you take it seriously. You're looking for answers, and at the same time, you are providing others to follow along with the journey of that endeavor. Kind of like how Interface does their documentaries. There's always some type of way you have to present it to make it entertaining. Because let's just face it, no one wants to see the boring parts. No. Where nothing's happening, where you're analyzing stuff for like hours and hours. Like no one's going to watch that, but that's really how it is. So maybe the next question I have is, what do people not see on the show but you want them to appreciate as far as the hard work, like evidence review, the traveling, all that?
Yeah, the big thing, man, is traveling and evidence review and the countless hours of investigating. I mean, you got to remember, you only got 42 or 43 minutes to watch an entire episode, where it took us, sometimes 7 to 10 days to film one episode, because we're there so long trying to gather evidence, and the crew's doing B-roll, and you're getting there and you're doing everything. You're collecting the evidence, you're doing interviews for clients and things of that nature, and witnesses. The travel, and just to know that when we do our evidence review, no one does that for us. We actually do that. That's not Hollywood bullshit. That's real what we do. You'll see little clips of it here and there in the show at the end, but we take a whole day, sometimes 2 days, depending on how much we've collected, and we all view our own evidence. And you got to remember too, we're doing these, what we call a run, which is an investigation. Yeah. Sometimes we'll do 5, 6, 7 runs in one night, and some of those runs anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours, sometimes longer. And when you're doing a run, you've got multiple cameras. You got a hand cam, you got a body cam, you have thermals, you have all your audio equipment, as far as like your ambisonics and your binaurals, zooms, whatever. And that's all one run. So you might have 5 or 6 hours worth of stuff to go over just for a 45-minute run. And then you got to fit all that in and go over all that evidence. If you did 10 runs over a 2-day period, you got all that to go over.
Right.
And that's not including your lockdown camera. You have a lockdown camera. Yeah, we all have our own lockdown camera, which is a static cam. Basically, we set it in a location that we choose, where, when we do, me and Brandon will do the tour, and Grant, we'll pick out locations. Hey, this is a great place for a lockdown. And we got ABC lockdown, and that goes there too. And they run for 3 hours at a time. And then you got to change the cards in them, and you do it again. So you got to go over all that too. So I mean, you might be looking at 3 or 4 screens and listening to audio and watching video at the same time. You're trying to get all this evidence together, and you might get an EVP, you might not get anything. You might get the Holy Grail, a whole full body apparition. But that's what putting all that time and effort into it, because you might, that split second, you might miss that. And there's been evidence where we captured this season, in season 2, where if we'd taken our eyes off that camera for 3 or 4 seconds, we'd have missed something amazing. And you guys are going to see all that on the show.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately, man, the crackling, it's worse when I have it on a certain scene. It figures that it's going to happen for this show, and we might lose some viewers from it, and I do not blame them, because it's kind of annoying to listen to. I have listened to it. But let's go ahead and do some shout-outs and see if there's any questions from chat so far.
Okay, I have Derek, I have Josh, I have William, I have Gina, Sandy, Jared, Eddie, Paul, Mary, Rich, Heather, and Brenda.
Awesome. Who we got on YouTube?
I have Sam Thomas, paranormal reporter, Joe, A Fireball, and Darren Smith.
Cool. Any questions?
Yeah, I do. Damn it. Rick asked, are they going to try to shoot any of the show in Delaware?
I wish. I wouldn't have to go far. Walk out my back door. I think the closest we filmed to my home state so far was last season, right outside of Gettysburg. Yeah, I would love to do someplace like Fort Delaware, someplace like that around here, and that would be amazing. But nothing in the works so far that I know of.
Any other questions?
No.
I don't have anything on YouTube. Heath Edwards and Debbie joined.
What's up, guys? I'm going to try something else right now. Some of the forums state that if I have multiple cameras plugged in, it could cause audio crackling, so I'm going to try unplugging this webcam. Let's see if it works. Gotta try it all. So
I actually have a question. Do you have a cloud chamber?
Do I have a what? I'm sorry?
A cloud chamber.
A cloud chamber? No, we do not.
do you even know what she's talking about?
I think I know what she's talking about, like the glass chamber you pump the smoke into or whatever. And is that what you're talking about?
No. A few years back, I proposed an idea to where you take a cloud chamber where scientists use to see the subatomic particle ionization from, like, the sun. There's all kinds of particles around. So, you know how you ever seen those images where the particles kind of do the curlicues through the smoke? Okay, well, I had an idea to build one to see if we can see paranormal activity with it, to see manifestations and stuff like that. But it costs too much money, and you would have to build something way better than what they used for just, seeing that.
Let me stop you there. You might see something like that. Something like that on the season 2.
Okay, so that's what she was getting at. Something haven't seen before.
You're gonna see some stuff you haven't seen before.
I do have one question. Brenda asked, what did Daryl do before the show?
What I do, I owned a contracting business, and I was a concealed carry instructor. I had 2 businesses.
Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to fix the audio issues, man. I really.
It happens. I've done this. You know me.
Well, I was apologizing to people in the chat because it's something they probably don't want to listen to at all. So I'm trying to fix it. Let me know if it gets any better or not. Okay, Daryl.
I have a question.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Sam wants to know, what's your feelings about Zach's Haunted Museum?
Honestly, I've never been there before, but you can't knock the guy. He's monopolized his way of paranormal. I think it's cool. I don't know how much it costs to get in. I couldn't tell you what he's charging people for or anything, but I think it's not something I would do personally. I would not want a bunch of haunted items or items that were used in murder scenes. I mean, murders and things of that nature, by serial killers. It's not something I'd want in my life. But I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, I guess it's cool. I mean, if I was in Vegas, I might stop by and check it out if you allowed me in the door. Who knows?
Right. It would be something just to go check out. I know a lot of people, they'll go in there and they're like, oh my God, their imaginations and minds would run rampant in a place like that. And then you have people like Kenny Biddle goes in there and be like, nope, not haunted at all.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I've never been there before. I've been in Nevada, but I've never been to that part of Vegas or anything. So I've never, had the chance to even go see anything like that. But I mean, the the guy's monopolized his way of doing things, which you can't knock him for that. And he's doing very well for himself.
All right. Any other questions?
Yeah. Brenda asked, what got you into ghost hunting?
I actually got into it, and the bio that you read earlier, Justin, is a little off because I actually got into it around 2005 or 6.
Okay.
I think it said 2008 on there. I must not have wrote that bio. Somebody wrote it for me. I got into it by complete accident. To be honest with you, I always, I'd watch the shows and everything, like Ghost Hunters and stuff in the early 2000s, and I was always interested in, but I never thought I would ever do it. So I got actually invited to an investigation at Fort Delaware, which basically is in my backyard. It's an island. I live right off the Delaware Bay, the Delaware River, about 4 miles from it. And I got invited. So I go out to this thing. It's around Halloween. There's a local paranormal team putting it on. And we get there. There's probably like 100 people there. Now, you had your choice back then. You could either do the historic tour or the paranormal tour. So there's about 100 people there, and they say, who wants to do the historic tour? And literally like 95 out of 100 people raised their hand. They wanted to do the historic tour. Because back, 10, 15 years ago, paranormal was not what it is now. People were still very shy about it and kind of off-put by it. They didn't want anything to do with it. And they would think it was me, my mother, my sister, and another couple that would happen to be there wanted to do the paranormal tour. So we did the paranormal tour, and literally the first time I ever been on a paranormal investigation, I actually saw what was a half-body apparition.
No shit.
I didn't even know what I was looking at the time. I'm the only one that saw it that I know of. I sat there and stared at it for a good 20 seconds before it just kind of like sucked back into like a vortex almost, it looked like. And after I walked out of there at night, I don't think I slept for a day or so because I was just so blown away by it. And I was hooked. And I said, this is what I want to do. How am I going to do it? I never thought it would lead me to this. But so what I did was I started doing it locally, put my feelers out there, doing local investigations on my own. I met my wife, at the time. We started dating. She loved it, and then we started doing places like Gettysburg, Fort Delaware again, and it just grew from there. And this is where I'm at now.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go over in that area. I know I love Gettysburg, and like we were mentioned before the show, we're going to meet in Gettysburg in person the first time. Yeah. And it's going to be a blast, and hopefully our booths are next to each other, so we have an excuse to hang out all weekend. But do you feel like the East Coast and that area, is it the history, is it the people, the culture? What makes it haunted there, you think? Because you travel all around, does it seem like the different locations have a different vibe, different feel, the phenomenon might be different?
Absolutely. We've done some investigating out here on season 1. We haven't done any on season 2. But this is where I'm from, of course, East Coast. I've done a lot of stuff up in, New England, all the way down to Ohio, where you guys are. I tell you, the East Coast has a lot of really cool hauntings because I think the fact is because it's so much older than the rest of the country. There's a lot of places here that even date back to like the mid 1600s, depending on what towns you go into. So there's a lot going on here. But I tell you, man, you go out to the Midwest, like, even like Ohio, which I guess you kind of consider Midwest. There's a lot of locations out there, amazing locations. I love it. And then when you get even further out west, like, Arizona and New Mexico, you're doing these investigations out there, there's a totally different vibe to it, man. It's like the energy is completely different in some of these locations. You feel this, I don't know if it's out there, you get a lot more of the Native American stuff coming out. and even up into like, we went to Alaska and places like that. I mean, the energy's different everywhere you go. Sometimes you get the same kind of energy. You
Mm.
do it long enough, you could feel it. But I think that the reason we have so much hauntings out here on the East Coast is because it's so much older than the rest of the country, and it's got a longer history. But that's it. You give these places out west another 50, 100 years, they're just going to be just as as much populated with the paranormal as it is out here right now. There's a lot of places out west, man. There really is.
Yeah, you almost want to. I know you probably agree, but if not, let me know. The paranormal's like an onion, layers of history, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I noticed. That's different when I go to different locations. There's different layers of the onion. So when you go out west, like you said, there's that whole Western frontier history that's kind of like maybe imprinted. If you buy into that theory. So when you go into locations for the show, I know you probably did it before you got on the show, but how much history research or historical research goes into peeling back those layers? And how do you manage and juggle those layers when you're trying to correlate what's reported, what you guys get, with potentially the history?
Well, I'll tell you, a lot goes into it before it even comes across our desk. It goes to producers who look at it. They really go through it with a fine-tooth comb. They're calling witness after witness after witness to make sure the stories, are factual. And then once they decide, hey, this could be a good location, this person needs help, because you want to make sure that, and I'm not knocking anybody, but you want to make sure the person who's calling you for help really needs help. And it's not, they're crazy or they're just trying to, raise their profit margin on their business or whatever, just because the TV show comes there. So the first thing they want to do is they want to go through it all with a fine-tooth comb and just make sure they weed out all the bad ones. I'm not saying they're bad, but they weed out the ones that there might be, some doubt. And then they go with the ones that, hey, this person seems like they really need help. And then once it comes to us, we're handed a basic a pamphlet that has everything in it, all the eyewitnesses, the location, the history of the location. And that's one good thing, once you get there and you actually sit down with the client and you do the tour with the client, like you'll see a lot of season 2, it's Brandon and I who do the tours. And when you sit down with this client, you find out there's more history there's more to that, like that's the onion. There's more layers to that onion than there in that you can only put so much in the pamphlet. You know what I'm saying? You can only put so much there, and then all these other stories start coming out. And then that's what's so great about Mustafa with his history background and being able to really dig into the history of a property and find out and pick out stuff that that even the homeowner doesn't know or the business owner doesn't know about the property, and bring it to us. And so it gives us something else to feed off of. And then once you get in there and you start investigating, sometimes it goes in a completely different direction than you ever thought it would.
Right.
Yeah, you start investigating all these claims, and sometimes you don't get these claims, but you get something 10 times more than these claims. Sometimes you don't. But it's so much goes into it before it even comes across our desk. It really does.
So when you start, a lot of times you'll discover when you start digging into things, researching things deeper and deeper, you will get things come across maybe a little bit more, or trigger things that haven't been triggered before.
Yeah.
Have you guys been doing residential cases on the show?
Not on season 2. No, it's all been these. I mean, you might as well say they're residential because they're a lot of they're privately owned businesses or privately owned like hotels and things of that nature. We're trying to, which we kind of went in a different direction. We wanted to do some larger locations that have never been seen before, just to give that kind of. I mean, I don't know where season 3 is going to go. I couldn't tell you with that, but season 2 has all been about these large, huge locations that have never been done before, except for one, of course, which I said, and and I tell you, it's been an amazing journey, man. we've done stuff that I never thought even possible. We've been places that I never even thought I'd ever go. And we've done, we're bringing stuff to Paranormal. I can't wait till you guys start seeing, man, and seeing the new equipment, because it, for us, it's so hard for us not to tell the people about it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
with that, until and you guys will see a lot of the new stuff in the first episode, on April 8th. It's a 2-part episode. It's a place we did in Arizona. And I tell you, you see not just, it's crazy because you've done paranormal for a long time, like I have, and a lot of people watching have. But a lot of times there's a human element to it too, and this is what you're going to see on that episode. Not just the paranormal side of it, but the human side of it, where things get a little sketchy.
So you're almost kind of like character development, like for the team. Bringing out the stories of the individuals on the team. Is that what you're talking about?
No, more for the people. Well, yeah, you're going to see like a human side of it as far as the team goes, but you're going to see how sometimes, how can I say this? How sometimes there's a human element to the paranormal as far as the darker side of things.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
think too much.
I think most of all the darkness that exists in the world's come from humans. To be honest.
Thank you. Yes.
I mean, the humans write the books about everything is everything. It's not. I'm just being honest and straightforward about what I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, when you dig into the history and you're analyzing and you're trying to get to the bottom of things, you'll unearth some real shit.
Yeah, and you'll see that on this. You're gonna see a lot of that on season 2, man. A lot of, and that's what we really love about it, is that not everything at the end of the day is a happy ending. It's real life. It's real investigating. It's people sometimes, when you're investigating, people get hurt. People, there's things of that nature you got to think about. You think of the logistics side of it. People, in locations getting hurt. You've been in sketchy places before, and
House of Wills.
There's that whole human element of it too, which it really brings a whole different look into the paranormal. You start saying, "Oh, okay, all right," and I think it's going to open some people's eyes, man. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, when you say that, the House of Wills come to my head immediately.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah. Without saying it, yes, the House of Wills.
It's an interesting location. I mean, if there's going to be an effed up onion, that's an effed up onion.
That's
right?
The one, man, you just don't buy.
you smell it, store, you squeeze it, and you're like, let's just put that there. I mean, those places are out there, and that macabre curiosity, that morbid curiosity you have, kind of draws you there. But once you get a taste of it, you're kind of like, maybe not. Yeah, and people ask you, are there places that that you wouldn't return to or have changed you? And I know you've talked about your experience there. Do you mind just addressing it just for a minute? Because I think people get value out of it.
House of Wills. I mean, you've been there. Man, it's an entirely different beast. It really is a different animal altogether. I went there. I was probably a little bit immature for my paranormal investigating at that time. It's been almost 5 or 6 years ago now. I went in there cocky, with an attitude, like, could have done it. At that point, I had been investigating for a long time, and I never thought that I would run across anything like this place. And I spent 13 hours in that location, and I tell you what, it changed my view on a lot of things, and it put me through a ringer. That's just one place. It's not what you see and hear in that place. It's what you're seeing and hearing in your head. It's like It's alive, man. I've never been in a location where the building felt like it had its own presence. Like it was alive.
It was its own entity, like
Yeah,
what you're saying.
exactly. It had its own heartbeat. You go in there and you just feel it, and it was not good. And you're like, holy cow, what did I get myself into? It was so bad you have to actually, at least once every hour or so, you'd have to pull yourself and all the other investigators who were with you, there's 4 of us, out of the building just to shake it, And you're talking East Cleveland, man. Not a good neighborhood. And you're standing out there 1 o'clock in the morning, you're hearing gunshots and stuff like that, man.
Well,
but you feel safer outside than you do inside. That's the bad part.
Well, it depends on what you're doing outside. I was up there with a filmmaker, and he was wanting to do a poster for the film.
Yeah.
And he's like, I had my mom draw out 3 vials of my own blood so I could pour it down my arm so I can hold this crucifix right on the sidewalk in front of this place. And I'm like, please, Jesus Christ, let no one see us doing this, because this is right during in the middle of the riots, right in the thick of it. Yeah. We were there. People were coming up to us like, hey, what are you doing? Are you Satan worshipers? We're like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am so glad that we got out of that unscathed.
You guys were there when they were trying to chase him out of town, Eric. I remember they were doing a whole thing where they thought he was the whole reason East Cleveland was as bad as it was because of the House of Wills.
Oh, God. You don't want that.
No, dude, it was bad, man. I'm so glad I wasn't there when that happened.
Greg cracked me up. Yeah. He's like, he's walking in there with a piece. Every snap of a stick, he's ready to shoot at. I'm like, damn, dude. If Greg is, he's from that area. If he's that worried, maybe we all should be that worried.
Yeah. It's not a good area. It's not a good building. It is so dark and just, oh God.
Would you go back?
I'd probably go back for the show. I tried to get the show to go there. But the crazy thing is, a lot of our crew members, not a lot of them, probably 3 or 4 of them, one producer and a couple of camera guys, actually have been there before because they worked on Ghost Brothers. And it's funny, the first time I ever met them, literally the first day we were shooting, I was talking to Kendall, and he's our director of photography. And we're talking, I don't know, and he was like, I was talking about something, and he's like, places he's been, and I said, yeah, there's this place, man, called the House of Wills. He just looked at me. He's like, the House of Wills? Like, he had this look on his face, like, oh, he said, yeah, I've been there. He said, I'll never, ever go back. He said, and then, the one producer was like, yeah, hell, and Russ, man, our one producer, Russ, he's like 6'4", 6'5", and weighs about 300 pounds. Dude, he's like, that was the scariest place he's ever been in his entire life. He lives in Chicago. He's like, I will never, ever go back in that building. So, so it's. I'm glad I'm not the only one that felt that way. I'm glad you can back that up for me. I think sometimes people want to tell that story. I haven't told that story in a long time, but people are like, it can't be that bad. I'm like, believe me, it's bad. It's bad. You don't want to go there.
I'm trying to think of things that would be worse. Like, I don't know. It's just the circumstances.
Yeah.
Having a toothache while you're there.
What's that?
Having a toothache while you're there.
Oh, Josh Bender wanted to rip his whole mouth out of his mouth. His tooth was hurting during that whole 3-day shoot we were on, and he was worried. Like, he was legitimately apprehensive about the whole trip up there. He's like, I don't know if this is a good idea, because we're putting all these things into his head. I'm like, look at this artwork, look at this dude, look at this building, and he's like, wait a minute, this is like what nightmares are made of. Why am I going here? But anyway,
it's the fact that the guy owns it, Eric Freeman, and this is widely known already. So I'm not telling anything that's not known, that he is, a priest in the Satanic Church, and he does rituals in that building to this very day. That doesn't help matters, and it doesn't help when you think about it, like, are they going to come here and do these rituals while I'm in the building? Or, your mind just plays tricks on you while you're there. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. But, I just thought that, I like bringing it up because, someone reputable, someone, that's not full of shit, that's, will tell how it is. I want people to know, like, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be big, have a beard, be the manliest man in the world, walk into a place and be like, nope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah,
But
that's one. And the thing was, I heard the stories about it from Greg and Stephanie, and I didn't believe them, man. I was like, this place cannot be like that. There's no way. So I didn't have really a whole lot of time before I got there to really let it sink in until I got there, and I was like, and I got there. I forget the guy's name. He was like the caretaker. He had the keys to the building. We got there like 3:00 in the afternoon, and this is like in July. It's hot as hell out. He's like, oh, he said, before you go in, we got to clear the building. I'm like, what do you mean clear the building? He's like, no, we got to clear the building room by room because you're likely to come across somebody with a weapon who wants to kill you. So we had to go in and literally clear the building for about 45 minutes, every room, to make sure there was nobody in the building. Yeah. Crazy.
all right, we'll shift gears. Do we have any questions before we move on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jared asked, have you ever been in a situation that made you think maybe I've gotten myself into something I shouldn't have?
Yeah, the House of Wills.
Next.
Yeah. I was just on an investigation it was back in January, so about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And it was one of the last episodes we shot, and got into a location, and a part of that location was a lot different, felt a lot different than the rest of the building too. And I think that was the closest to the House of Wills that I've ever felt that same kind of presence. And the crazy thing is, you guys will see it on the show. I think it's probably going to be the last episode of the season because it's going to be like a really good bookmark and book ending. Actually, I was getting these feelings, and then we at one point you heard a bunch of different noises, and actually capture some stuff on body cam and on other cameras at the same time that kind of solidifies what I was feeling, what I was hearing at the time. So yeah, that was a little crazy. Then I went back in there again and did a solo run by myself, and I tell you what, I was on pins and needles the whole time I was in there. So yeah, that's probably the one on the show that really. And there was one we did last season too, in season 1, at the Mohegan Castle, which is in Ohio, and didn't make it on the show, which kind of sucks because we were there for I think we were there for like 7 or 8 days, and I stayed in a cabin in the woods that was not actually part of it's part of the castle, but it wasn't connected to the castle. So everybody else is staying in these really beautiful rooms and everything in the castle. And somehow I drew cabin 13, which I didn't realize it was going to be a cabin, which is about a half a mile from everybody else in the middle of the woods. And I remember the girl at the front desk saying, all right, I got to drive you there. I'm like, what do you get driving there? Well, I'm not staying in the castle. No, you're staying in cabin 13. I'm like, okay. So I get my own cabin. So they drive me to this cabin. We pull up down this dirt road. I'll never forget. It looked like the cabin from The Evil Dead. And I'm like, holy shit, what is this? And I literally, she's like, I'm not getting out of the car. I'm not coming in. We will not go in that building. But have a good day. I'll see you later. And she left me out there in the middle of it was pouring down rain. I'll never forget. I'm standing there with my bag, and she just basically throws the keys to me out the window and says bye and takes off. They won't go in the building. I'm like, what did I get myself into? So I go in there, and I tell you what, I spent 5 days there, and I'm kind of pissed it didn't never make it on the show because we got so much great evidence in there, and they didn't have time for it. But I'm in there for 5 days, and literally, I'll put it this way to you: by the 3rd day, I was actually sleeping in the back of my SUV because I couldn't deal with it anymore. I couldn't deal with the audible voices in the cabin. The cabin was from the 1700s. It was the original cabin to the property, and it had a lot of history. Apparently, people passed away there, but I was hearing audible voices. I actually captured a bunch of them on audio and on my camera. I had two lockdown cameras in the cabin with me for a couple of nights. Actually, one call where I actually got done investigating. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. I walk in the front door. I walk to this little kitchenette, and I get a lockdown camera sitting there. I walk into this back room where my bed was. I'm just standing there. I'm starting to get undressed, and all of a sudden, this little girl says, "Hello," as loud as day. "Hello." And you see me on camera. I swing around. I walk out of the room. I'm like, "Hello," and I'm like, I'm freaked this time. I'm like, "What the hell?" So I don't know how. I probably slept like 2 hours that day. Cause I'm hearing noises. I'm hearing walking around the cabin. Remember, I'm in the woods by myself. I have no cell reception.
So that made it worse.
Yeah, my walkie-talkie wasn't even working. I had a walkie on me. So by the third day, I had to get some sleep. So I slept in the back of my SUV I had. And then the next night I went back in there and I turned everything on in the freaking, in the actual cabin, just so I would hear the noises. I turned the TV up as loud as I could. I think I had every light on in the freaking place.
All the tricks.
And just so I could sleep on the couch and I could actually get sleep. And oh my God, it was so crazy. But it was such a great experience though, just to have that happen and be in that presence.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And cabins have, especially old cabins. I remember Gettysburg, we all stay out the KOA outside of town.
Yeah.
And that place is lit up. The last year we were there, just like you said, footsteps. We didn't hear voices, but the footsteps were very plain on the gravel. I had somebody sit down right next to me on my air mattress. It actually pushed me almost off of the air mattress when it sat down on the corner of it. Freaked me the hell out.
Yeah. See, I've had, like, me and my wife used to stay at the Cash Town Inn right outside of Gettysburg all the time. And we used to get the craziest things happen there. You hear these audible footsteps walk across the room. At one time, we had this rubber ball, like for a dog, that we brought as a trigger object, set on a windowsill, and it actually shot across the room. It was crazy, man. We had some amazing things happen in that place. Gettysburg is awesome. I love Gettysburg.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to try to find recipes for hauntings, 60,000 drop dead in a few days.
Yeah, 3 days. Yeah. I was just there in January. I did an event at a place called the Lookout House, which was pretty interesting. It was it's about 9 miles outside of town, and I loved it, man. It was great. We stayed the night there after the event, and it's just an amazing location. Yeah, you pay them, Steve. It's their property, so they're doing the bash.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's the 4th annual one this year.
Yeah, something like that. First time I'll ever be there, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, you're gonna love the hell out of it. You're gonna meet a whole bunch of cool people, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Well, I see a lot of people on the thing. I know a lot of them. Yeah, you and there's a few other people, that I know. So I can't wait to get there.
Well, yeah. After all the interviews you've done and networking you've done, it's hard. It'd be hard to find people you don't know at this point.
Pretty much, dude.
All right. Well, we have a couple minutes before the halfway mark. Do we have any other questions in chat?
I have a couple more. Just go ahead and ask yours. You shouldn't have very many.
Yeah, I only have 2, and one of them is kind of a joke. Joe wanted to know who has the better beard, Daryl or Josh?
I knew it.
I would say, right now it's different because I actually cut about 4 inches off my beard in the last.
I noticed that.
And Josh has got the girth and the length going these days, man. I can't do it anymore. I just can't. I can't keep up with these young bucks.
That's what I said.
When you said the girth and the length, I
know. I put that in there on purpose. But I think right now, if you're looking for a big beard, Josh has got it going. Mine, I got this thing going. I don't know what you want to call it these days, but the stash is huge. The beard, I'm getting the 70s porn stash going here, and I can't do it on the road, man. It's just so hard to take care of. It really is.
Any other questions?
Yes. Sam says, does Daryl have a location that calls upon him? And has he ever had an attachment or a spirit follow him?
Yes and yes. My my location that always calls to me is Fort Delaware. I love Fort Delaware. I've never been disappointed, and it's just one of those places. There's something when I go there, I feel like I'm almost at home. There's a point in my life where I wanted to go there all the time if I could. The thing is, thank God it's an island, and you have to take a ferry to get to it, because I probably would have been there every day. As far as attachment, yes, I have had what you call an attachment, and that was from House of Wills. And one of the things that almost changed, I almost got out of paranormal because of House of Wills. And anybody who knows me, and Josh, Justin, all these guys know me. I've told that story before. So yeah, I had an attachment. I reached out to a bunch of people in the paranormal field on how to handle this attachment at the time. And it took about 3 to 4 weeks before I was actually able to get it out of my life, because it was just making me sick. I was depressed, and I'm not a depressed guy. I'm like, nothing really gets to me. If it does, I keep it in and I just deal with it and I figure it out. But this, man, I don't know what it was, but it was really kicking my ass. But yeah, I've not had anything since, thank God. Yeah.
I do have one more question, but go to Missy real quick. Heath Edwards asks, what's Daryl's go-to snack?
Oh man, like when I'm pissed, I eat Doritos. I don't know why.
He's got stress food. Go-to stress food.
Yeah, that's my when I'm pissed, I'm eating ranch Doritos. Usually I'm pretty healthy. It's hard to do on the road. I eat really healthy, but I eat a lot of protein, a lot of eggs and chicken and things of that nature. But yeah, if you see me eating ranch Doritos, I'm pissed.
That's great. Missy, we'll take one more question and then we'll go to break.
Okay. What has been your greatest paranormal experience?
Oh God. Here's another hour.
Well, I'll keep this one short. My greatest paranormal experience, in all honesty, is season 2. I can't. It's every investigation we did on season 2, and I put a post out about this earlier today. How proud I am of it and the direction the show's going, and I've never been more proud of anything I've done in this field than this season. Yeah.
Spirit Stalker Afterlife strikes again with another $5 donation. Thank you so much. Maybe the audio will sound better on the next show because of these donations. It's driving me crazy and I can't fix it.
I can't hear it.
No, it's only on the broadcast. We're good. On the broadcast, there's something glitchy going on, and it happens every blue moon.
Well, that's weird, because I did a podcast last week where he was having the same problems, man. Yeah, it's weird.
But yeah, that's a good segue into season 2. We'll play the trailer for season 2 Ghost Hunters on the break, and we're going to give you at least 10, if not 12 minutes. Stretch your legs, go use the bathroom, whatever you need to do. Please don't go anywhere and anybody unless you can't handle the audio, and I can't blame you. But I really want to support Daryl, and I really want to get into some other questions to kind of get away from the norm that he has to ask, because I haven't talked to Daryl in a long time. He's been so busy. So don't go anywhere. 10, 12 minutes. We're going to play some promos. We'll play the trailer to season 2. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Is anyone out there?
We're the first people to investigate here.
There have been thousands of people who have died here. We're 100 miles from the closest interstate. Emergency personnel can't be here right away. Welcome to Fort Stanton.
How many believe they've had a paranormal experience? Wow.
This new technology that we utilize, we're capturing the holy grail in paranormal research.
What the hell is that? Oh, look, it just appeared again.
You gotta be careful, guys. It's a dangerous situation here.
Let's watch this area.
Holy, this is the most mind-boggling thing I've ever seen.
Ghost Hunters 2-hour premiere Wednesday, April 8th at 8 on A&E.
Hey Ghost Hunters fans, Be sure to subscribe to the A&E YouTube channel for more paranormal content and catch full episodes on A&E or aetv.com.
Do you have that drive? That morbid curiosity to explore the darkness? Do you have what it takes to brave the night? You do? Good. Dead light. For those who aren't afraid to see what lurks in the night.
Back off now. In God's name, back off.
You go back to your bathroom, you stay back there.
I got you. Don't fucking touch me! Fuck! Okay. Leave me the fuck alone! Okay, sweetie. Okay. Open the door, get the door. Open the door, let's get her out of here.
Get the door.
God! Leave me alone! 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 Leave me alone!
Get out of here!
Ow! I can't move my feet! I can't move my feet! In God's name, out of here now!
This is Jason Bland, host of Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, where we stream live as a webcast every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, with guests who will blow your mind. Live ghost box sessions where you can call into the show to see if the spirits will talk to you, and the world wide web of weird with the latest in paranormal news and evidence. We're bringing the weird every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.
Hillary,
What?
what's going on with this building?
Everything. A lot of people will come here and get messages from loved ones. This place was holistic. If you come back up here, I will push you to your death.
You're going to die in there.
Something just like flew at me. Something big and like gray.
Whoa, 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 I just saw someone fucking turn the step.
Did you hear that?
I'm not doing like this. I just want this on the record. Mike's gonna see something in that mirror.
This took a big 180. I hope this doesn't change our approach.
And we're back, and our audio is probably garbage still, and I apologize for that. But thanks for hanging in there. Another hour with Daryl Marston, and like I said in the beginning, man, I appreciate this time. I know that you're so busy, and it's so hard to fit in all these. It's almost like press now, but hopefully it don't feel like you're in front of the press.
I enjoy talking to people who I've known for a long time in the paranormal field. I can actually feel more relaxed. I don't feel like I'm under a microscope and going to have some crazy questions thrown my way that I probably shouldn't answer or don't want to answer. So, yeah.
Joe, I did show the trailer for the Hartford City documentary, if that's what you're talking about. We do have a film coming out here in the next few weeks, hopefully, and hopefully it'll allow me to keep doing what I'm doing. But I know my wife. I'm not to get off subject, but my wife is trying. The multiple sclerosis is really taking a toll on her. So I'm going to take a lot of the financial burden off her, and start taking on more work. So hopefully we can keep doing this. But let's talk about how it's been with you and your significant other. How is she handling this? Are you willing to open up with that? I mean, how is the TV celebrity changed your relationship? I'm always curious about that.
I'm still just her asshole husband, and she treats me like that. No, she's been amazing, man. The nice thing is she's been able to leave her job, which she hated anyway. It was a very stressful job.
That's awesome.
Just be a full-time mom, and she actually was able to go back to school and pursue the career she always wanted to do, or she's been wanting to do for a while now. And but no, she's very supportive. She takes care of the kids while I'm gone for weeks at a time, and it's been great, man. She's able to do some of the events with me when I'm off. Like, I just did 2 events in Virginia last weekend, and she went there with me. So yeah, it's nice, when you come. I think it's made our relationship a lot stronger too, because when you're away from each other, you appreciate each other a lot more. Not that we didn't appreciate each other before, but when you're
new perspective.
When you're away from that person, you start missing them a lot, especially your kids and everything. So it's made our relationship a lot stronger, and it's just it's fun, man. Yeah, it's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. This is a full-time job. I mean, doing what I do, and everybody thinks it's you're on TV. It's good. No, it's not. It's not. There's nothing easy about it, man.
You're doing evidence review. You're traveling. You're helping set up equipment. That could be laborious and tiring. You're staying up late hours.
Yeah.
And jet lag.
There's no such thing as sleep, man, anymore, dude. When I'm especially on the road, you just can't sleep. I mean, you're going from different altitudes and different climates. One week you'll be at sea level, it's 90 degrees, and the next week you'll be at like 7,000 or 8,000 feet, and it's snowing. And it's like your body, it takes a toll on your body too, because you're just like, your body has to acclimate to that every time you're changing, and you're flying everywhere, and you're just like, oh my God. But at the end of the day, man, especially, it's crazy because I'm glad you brought that up because like 2 weeks ago, we, like I said, about a week and a half ago or so, we wrapped season 2. Finally, we were done. We're like, oh my God. But we haven't seen any of the episodes really until that night. One of the episodes they sent to us, and we sat in the hotel room, or the hotel. They had a room for us, and it was some of the crew and me, Brandon, and Brian, and we actually sat there and watched the first episode of season 2, and you see all that hard work come together, and you're like, okay, this is why I do this. This is why I travel so much and work so much, and I don't sleep anymore. I don't eat right. This is why, because this is freaking amazing. And I can't wait till the public and you guys see it and the feedback we get. There's going to be people who are going to probably say, oh, you guys are faking it. And it's going to come. But it is what it is, man. It's great. It's shot so well, man. The people we have working for us, the crew, are some of the best in the business. They're not just from Ghost Hunters. These guys have come from other shows like Wicked Tuna and other paranormal shows, and they just know what they're doing. They know how to shoot. And they just make it look so good. They make us look so good. And I really got to give a shout out for our crew and our producers. They're just amazing people, very good people.
Yeah, you could shout out as anybody in your team or production crew you want, because especially the people behind the scenes doing the production, they're the unsung heroes as well. They're grinding it out too. Ryan's got a question if you want to go ahead and read that, Miss. Do you want me to read it for you?
No, I got it.
Okay.
He said, how does all the travel affect your physical health? I know you looked extremely worn out after we investigated the Exchange Hotel Saturday.
No, he's at Exchange. That's right. Ryan. It is Ryan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I met Ryan at the Exchange. Well, Ryan, you got to remember too, man, I just got done filming like the week before. I really hadn't had any time. I mean, I'm starting to catch up now. I'm starting to, feel, I'm back at home. And then we pretty much went straight to that event, and that's a lot of running around and driving. We drove there. That was about 4 hours. And then we did the night before we did the event at the Beacon, and then we went to the Exchange. So it's hard, man. It's hard, but it's so worth it. It's at the end of the day. And everybody at the Exchange was amazing. RTL, they put on the event. They're amazing. They did Beacon Theater as well. Those guys are great. Ray and Tracy and all of them out there are amazing people. But I'm glad Ryan had a good time, and I'm sorry I was tired, man. I look tired, but I think we put on a good show for you guys.
Awesome.
I have a question.
Okay.
Daryl, you were mentioning earlier that you did used to do CCW classes. Heath wants to know, is Daryl a Glock man?
I am a Glock man. I'm a Glock man and an MP man too. Any MP stuff. Mostly Glock. Yeah.
I have more questions if you want me to ask them.
Go ahead.
Heather asked, what has been your greatest paranormal experience?
Greatest paranormal experience? Probably something that just happened not long ago. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, I witnessed something and captured it on actual footage, which everybody will see in season 2. That really solidifies a lot for me. It's something that anybody in the paranormal field strives to do. It's one of the things they strive to catch on footage, and I actually captured it twice, within like 20 seconds. So yeah, and not just me, but other cameras have caught it too.
I can't wait to see that.
I have one more question, and I can't overlook this one because it was Josh Bender's question, and he'll never let me live it down.
Oh, God, Josh.
He said, other than the show, what was the craziest place you investigated?
We already answered that.
It's gotta be
he wants you to talk about it again.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's another one, too, that's a real close second. That's Anderson Hotel in Kentucky. That place was freaking... It was probably damn close to House of Wills. I don't know if any of you guys have ever a chance. I don't even think it's open anymore. From what I hear, they shut it down because it got too dangerous for people to investigate. It was bad, man. It was bad. I seen some stuff in there that really blew my mind. I saw somebody get overtaken by something. I was sitting in a chair, and this is toward the end of the investigation, and things are just going crazy in this place. And something actually rushed me, and I felt this energy hit me so hard. I stood up, and I got thrown back through this chair, and I'm laying in the middle of the floor in the pitch black. Man, I don't know where my light went, my camera. All I remember was getting up, grabbing my stuff, and leaving the building. That place was crazy, Anderson Hotel. But like I said, I investigated there twice. I don't think it's open anymore from what I understand. I know...
it's in Cleveland?
No, it's in Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where Nick Groff's show went. His first season, Paranormal Lockdown. They went there. They had a lot of the same things happen to them that happened to us there.
I'm looking at photos of it now. It's pretty interesting.
It's a small place, man. It's a hotel, but it was a boarding house. It was a brothel. It was a bunch of stuff. There was a lot of like suicides and murders in the building.
Hotels are active, man. They're places to go to, and you know, it's kind of like the Onion we're talking about. The transient types of activity you get in there, you know, and people go to hotels to kill themselves. People go to hotels to do shady stuff.
Yeah, I mean, another place too I would like to mention is Waverly Hills. Waverly Hills was amazing. I had such a great time investigating Waverly Hills. I think I've seen more shadow figures than I could count in Waverly Hills. And not just me, the crew, the team, everybody saw them. Like, you'd be walking down a hall and you would just see one run across the hall. I've never seen anything like that ever in any location I've ever been in. It's crazy.
That place, there are places that give you almost like a ticket into their realm. Let's just say it. Like, you go into almost like another state of being where it's just, you know, like even Madison Seminary made me feel that way. Like, there's certain sections that made me feel like it was energetically active, like, you know, and almost like you can maybe manifest things from your fears, from your imagination, and, you know, things, you know, that happen there. Like, I heard coughing at the Waverly Hills Sanatorium every time I was there. It's interesting.
Heard audible coughing, shadow figures in this. I'm like, it was just like it became a common occurrence, man. I was like, it got to the point where I wasn't even paying attention to them. I was seeing them so often. I'm like, this is insane. I've never seen anything like that.
Right. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
Derek asked Daryl, since you being involved with a TV show, how has your view changed on the perception of produced paranormal investigations and your non-produced investigations? And do you feel the choice to take the job with Ghost Hunters was worth the risk?
No, it's definitely worth the risk. It's a lot of work, but I'm no one who's ever shied away from hard work. As far as the difference between having a camera crew with you and not having a camera crew with you, it took some time to get used to, especially in season one. It took us probably 5 or 6 investigations or episodes to actually get in that groove to know, you know, basically you get that wherewithal where the camera guy is all the time. You know he's going to be in a certain, you know, vicinity around you, and you kind of learn how to play to that and how to investigate around it. It took a while to kind of figure that out, but I don't know if I could, like, I do these events now where we do investigations at the events with, you know, the public comes out, and I tell you what, it's definitely is not as stressful, you know, to do it, you know, with a camera crew with you and producers and things of that nature. But you gotta remember, our producers don't interrupt. They're not even in the building with us when we're investigating. It's just us and a camera guy, and there might be an audio person depending on how big the building is around you. And usually, if they're in the building, the audio person is probably 2 or 3 floors under you, and he's sitting somewhere quietly, where you don't have that in regular investigations. But that's the one thing about doing just a regular investigation. You don't have that stress level, and you're just kind of like you're more relaxed, and you don't have to really you're kind of you're having fun with it at this point. Now you got to remember, on the show, we're actually, there's one thing I can tell you about this team. This team does not think, when we're investigating, we don't care a damn thing about it being a show. And we care about capturing the evidence and providing the evidence to the client, whatever we capture. We're thinking about the client at this point once we go in that building. They're just there to film us investigating. They don't interfere with us. They don't tell us what to do. They don't say, oh, you got to investigate this way. We investigate however the hell we want to, with whatever equipment we want to, and whenever we want to. They're just
awesome.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I like most about Ghost Hunters and the spirit of Ghost Hunters is it's a TV show, but I think that you're trying to say, but haven't quite said it yet, and I'm going to see if I'm right. It's a platform where you can get easy access to those people that you can't get easy access to, like science people in the science community, people in these other communities that are just hard to get a hold of. You're able to get these resources of people, information, money, all together to do something good.
Yeah, exactly.
And am I right?
You're 100%. You're 100% correct, and you said it. I couldn't say it better. And that's the thing. We have the resources to do that with having a show back us on what we're doing. We have the resources to scientists. We have the resources to the best equipment that money can buy. We have all those, and thank God we do. And a lot of people are not able to do that. And that's one of the things about the show is we're keeping it as real as humanly possible. Everything we do, because we want to. Our biggest goal, and we've all talked about this on the team, our biggest goal is to further this field at the end of the day. And, it's not just helping the client, but it's to further the field. So, to bring some integrity back to the field, and honestly, guys, it's been going on for a while now. The integrity part of it, it started out really strong in the early 2000s, and it just started losing steam. And it just kept going that way. And we're trying to bring that back. And I think in season 2, guys, you're going to really see that. And it's going to get people excited again. And people are going to say, okay, this is how it should be done. This is how, and, we want to do it. And hopefully we're able to teach people, new techniques and show them new equipment that they can start using that, isn't built in somebody's, bathroom or backyard. And that, it's just one of those things, man, that I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it sometimes, that we try our hardest to, our biggest goal is not just to help the client, which is that's number one when we're on the show. We got to have an answer for this client at the end of the day. But when you guys, the paranormal investigators, when you guys, not just the people who are just, the people sitting on the couch watching it who love to be scared, the paranormal investigators out there are going to say, okay, this is how we do it. We're seeing people on TV do it that way. And hopefully that'll, inspire them to do things the right way and keep doing it the right way. And there's no faking anything on this show. There is no faking anything, no noises, no bumps in the night, nothing. There's none of that. It doesn't go on because we would shut it down. We wouldn't want to be a part of it.
Yeah, over the last 7 years since I've been doing this, it's almost like there's a division now. There's some people in the middle, but there's the people out there that are the DR60, the Portal, the people that have the false positive machines that get instant gratification whenever they need it out of the device they want, no matter wherever they go. right?
Yeah.
So you got those people. They don't want you to debunk their photos. They don't want you to challenge anything that they present. So there's no peer review.
Yeah.
So they just like to live in echo chambers. Then you got the people on the other end. They challenge everything, they question everything, they run everything through the ringer. They want peer review. When people tell them that they're wrong or I don't think that's this or that, they don't get offended.
Yeah.
And that's what Ghost Hunters is trying to subscribe to, bring that back.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, what do you think? What do you think you guys are up against? Is it other paranormal shows? Is there something in the paranormal pulp culture that has manifested into that type of culture? I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I'll take the gloves off on this one. I think a lot of it is some of the other shows, man. To be honest with you, I'm not calling out any names, but I think there's been this culture of, a paranormal show is supposed to be about scaring people, and it's not always what it's about. Yeah, paranormal can be. It's interesting and it's fun, but it's also it doesn't have to be scary all the time. Like some of these shows make it out to be. And I'm like I said, I'm not calling out anybody's name, but some of these shows you see, man, you're like, I can't even watch them, man. After being on, I have a hard time watching my own self on TV because I'm there doing it, and I know what's happening. But to watch some of these other shows, you just kind of roll your eyes and you're like, holy crap, they're putting this stuff out there, and it's all about, it's a shame. Okay, here's a prime example. Our show's called Ghost Hunters, which that's the name, that's the brand. It's been like that for going on almost 20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not ghost hunters. We're investigators. We're paranormal investigators. And there's a difference. You got ghost hunters and you have paranormal investigators. You got people who all they want to do is they want to go take their SB7s, SB11s, whatever. I'm not knocking anybody's equipment. If you want to be a ghost hunter, go be a ghost hunter. Have fun. But you can't prove any of that. You can't take any of that to a client. If I had a REM pod go off in a room, I can't say that's paranormal. It's fun. It might be scary in a moment, but I can't take that to a client and say, oh, yeah, the REM pod went off. Your house is definitely haunted. But if I take a thermal hit with a thermal camera or an Amazonic that's made by Zoom, one of the best recorders in the business, and I hit an EVP on it, or I hit a thermal image of something walking across the room that's not human, I can take that to a client and say, this is what we captured. This is what we think's here. We can't say for sure, but this is the evidence we have. And you can go, this is how you can deal with it on your end. I wouldn't be afraid of it. It's not going to hurt you. It's just here doing its thing. And if it's intelligent, which we think it is at this point in time, then you gotta lay down these ground rules. We can do that. But you can't do that with a REM pod. You can't do that with some of this other equipment that's out there because you can't prove it. I can't prove. And we've all used that equipment in the past. I've used it. It's fun. And I see people bring it out on investigations at the events I do. And I'm totally open for anybody using whatever they want. Not everybody has to be a paranormal investigator. If you want to be a ghost hunter, just go have fun and go to your local graveyard or the local haunted house down the street. Go for it. Have fun with it. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to prove something. I'm trying to prove there is life after death. I'm trying to prove paranormal is real. And I want to prove that that's one thing with the show. The show gives us that audience that you might not have, without being on a TV show. And that's the problem with some of these shows they have a big audience, but they're not bringing, they're not taking the field any further. They're making it worse.
We do have some an interesting comments in there. I know Connor Biddle said that he didn't think there was anything wrong with the portal device, one of the devices I mentioned. And then he also made the comment, how does a thermal prove ghosts? No one has proven any heat or cold spots as definite proof. Also, EMF isn't valid way of detecting ghosts either. And that's true. I do think that that's true. But what, my response to that, and I'll allow you to respond to that, Daryl, is we're trying to use... Okay, me and Daryl are trying to use equipment that have the false positives are very, very small.
Right.
So you're trying to eliminate false positive. You're trying to eliminate contamination. So when I mention portals, you're actually taking a radio. It's something that's designed to do something like receive radio transmission, and then say that that's ghost talking to you. And then they run the effects through it and everything, which is just adding more and more pareidolia and more problems to it, in my opinion. So with that, let's try to determine, why that's different than, let's say, a thermal imager. So a thermal imager just detects surface temperature. If there's enough matter there, it's going to give you a thermal readout. So you don't have to worry about something come along that's cold unless it's cold.
Right.
But on a portal, you can get a radio broadcast, and it could coincidentally line up with what your line of questioning is, or have some kind of correlation to what you're doing. But that's a little bit less reliable. Well, I mean, what would you say in response to that?
I'm behind you 100% on that, because I mean, yeah, nothing is going to say, as far as the thermal goes, or you're getting an EVP on a Amazonic, anybody can say, oh, that's that's somebody's voice who was there. That's a human, a living human who said that. Yeah, you can't 100% prove that. But when you take multiple camera images, say there's 3 cameras going in that same room, and they're all pointing in the same direction, and I get a thermal image of what looks like a full body walking across the room, and their body temperature is a lot less than a living human, I should say. And you recreate that, and you put that side by side. That's a lot easier to prove than a REM pod going off, or what was the device you mentioned? I'm sorry, the portal.
Spirit box, yeah.
The spirit box. That's a lot easier to prove that and show that to an actual client, somebody who's sitting there, who's trying to figure out what's going on in their house or their place of business, and try to ease their minds. I wouldn't feel right doing that with any other kind of piece of equipment. I just wouldn't. And that's why I try to say, if you want to use that type of equipment, have fun. That's great. I am not knocking you at all. Use it. Have fun with it. But where I come from, and the way I'm trying to do it, and the way the show and the team is trying to do it, and yourself, is we're trying to prove something. We're trying to further the field by using equipment that's not used. It's not made for the paranormal. We're using thermal imagers. We're using, microphones that are sometimes used, in studios and things like that, in that nature. They're not made. They're not made by a company that makes equipment for paranormal. I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, let's just go ahead and get into this. What do you think? What experiment could we set up to prove that there's life after death and that there's ghosts?
What experiment can we set up?
What will it take to prove it?
I honestly don't have an answer for that, man, because it's such a work in progress. I think if there was some kind of magic camera out there that could actually pick up these events, on a different spectrum than we're used to, than even past your thermals and your IR and all that, I think that might help prove it.
Right. Can I suggest something?
Yeah.
Now, I had a skeptic ask the question and challenge me on this. Okay, and I'm going to keep it on the scene. If I just have it on your full screen, I think it's sounding good. So,
yeah.
Here's my proposal, and it's going to be it's going to be hard to do, but straightforward. Okay, get a group of terminally ill people. They are for sure going to die soon. Get them to sign something or agree to say, okay, what can we do? When you pass, can you try to give us a sign? Can you say, okay, one day after I pass or a week after I pass, you will do this, you will do that. Specific controlled things.
Yeah.
Okay? and maybe things that are very specific to rule out coincidence and stuff like that, and have it set up to where once they pass, then it happens in a predictable, replicated way, if you follow me.
Right.
So you can set this up in like a cancer center, you can set this up in maybe hospice places to see, because nurses will tell you these stories. Like, you know, they'll talk about people that are on death's door, talking about how they're seeing their loved ones, how they're seeing angels and everything. And it's not like all these people talk to each other and work all this out. They're seeing the same things and saying the same things.
Yep.
So there's something there. So we need to go to these people and say, hey, we need some type of message back saying, can you still reach back to this, you know, to the living, and let us know that there's something else there behind, something tangible, you know, either it's a EVP, a voice, you know, a sign saying there's going to be like some kind of rare bird that's not indigenous to the area fly into the, you know, window and do so, you know, something like that, and have it predicted and replicated.
Well, it's definitely, if somebody can set an experiment like that up, you know, and get the permission and, you know, waivers and all that signed, and make a case study out of it, yeah, that probably would, you know, the thing is, you still have your skeptics, but it would take it to a whole nother level. Absolutely.
Yeah, but those skeptics, like, you would bring the skeptics in, the scientists in, and be like, okay, maybe make it their family member. Maybe it's like, okay, you find the most skeptic person out there. You would ask them, what would it convince you to say your grandmother that's about ready to pass, to convince you, what would you have to see? And then set that up and see if it happened or not.
Right.
I mean, individual, you know, little setups like that. I think that's the only way that it would convince, like, me, you know, in a certain situation. Like, you know, you can bring me a ghost box recording, you can bring me an EVP. Sure, we don't know how to explain it. It's anomalous to us, but we couldn't tell you who it was, if it was a ghost, if it was an alien, if it was something recorded in rock or crystals or whatever, you know.
Right.
So I just think that we need to really get into the hard questions and do the hard research. I think that would be extremely hard. I know, you know, there's hospice people and these nurses that deal with this type of thing. I think those are one of the most interesting people to talk to on this subject matter. Have you interviewed anybody like that, or talked to anybody like that?
Yeah, we've run into people like that, you know, during the show, and, you know, as witnesses and people of that nature for different things. Not so much like nurses and things, but people who have worked with people who are dying, and, you know, family members and things of that nature. And these stories that we hear, you know, about, you know, say this dying person had a favorite song, or it's a song that you just don't hear all the time, and all of a sudden they passed, and all of a sudden this person, you start hearing the record player in the next room starts playing this song for no reason, things of that nature. That's what you hear. But that's an interesting, you know, thing what you're talking about. You know, if they could do a case study like that and maybe do it over a period of time, and actually, you know, if you found people who are willing to, you know, people who were, you know, on their way out, who were getting ready to pass, to actually agree to something like that with their family members, that would be amazing, man. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and I know you've heard about crisis apparitions, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, their grandmother or whoever's, you know, had just died, but they'll appear or see them come into the room, or maybe they'll call you on the phone after you found out later that they had passed away. So it was actually impossible for that to be them alive.
Yeah. I've had that happen in my own family a couple of times. Not since I've been, you know, it was before I was born, but I heard the stories passed down from my grandparents of things like that happening. Phone calls. My father, I remember my father and his brothers and sisters actually were getting phone calls from their dead, which was my grandfather. He died before I was born. Supposedly called them about a week after he passed away. He called all of them at one point. So they all backed this story up, and there were 7 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, so I heard those stories. But yeah, It's crazy, man. You hear that a lot about the phone calls, and things of that nature. People getting phone calls after a loved one's passed, or they see that loved one, but they didn't know they passed. You know, like they see that person, walk in their door, and they're like, why are you here? And they don't answer them. And all of a sudden they get a phone call, 20 minutes later after, and they found out this person died, 2 or 3 hours ago. That's crazy. It's a story I told too about it's a touchy subject for me, and I don't talk about it a lot, but I think I talked about it on another show one time. My son passed away 3.5 years ago. I went to the hospital to identify his body. I'm walking down this hallway, and this is a busy hospital here in Delaware. And I'm walking down this hallway. They take me back. It's me, my parents, and my wife. And we're going down this long corridor, and it's full of nurses and orderlies running back and forth. And I'm passing this one room. I passed like 20 rooms with the doors shut, and some of the doors are open. This one room, for some reason, caught my eye, and it says private for personnel only, or something like that on the door. For some reason, it caught my eye, and when I was walking past it, somebody tapped me on my shoulder, and I spun around, and there was nobody there. And so I didn't think any more about it. I went, talked to the doctor. He explained everything. He said, let's take you to see him. And literally walked down this long corridor, passing 20 rooms, and that's the room he was in. So things like that, they really happen, man. I've been there. I went through it.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that is you had no idea that was the room you would be returning to.
No, it looked like a janitor's closet, dude. They had it disguised to be, a room where they took the, people's bodies, and they made it look like it was a janitor's closet, like there's nothing in here but supplies or something like that. What happened to be an actual room where they would take bodies, when they had just passed, until the families could come see them.
Not everybody can say that, they have that ingrained in them. They have that, it changes you, right? Like you could read about it, you can experience it. There's no doubt about it that it just changes everything about the way you think, the way you feel, the way you perceive life, death, life after death. It's deeply profound to go through something like that, and to stay objective, to stay, thinking critical, staying methodical about it, and trying to separate that away. Like, any father would want to, be reunited in a physical, tangible way with a past child, but to not have that throw a wrench into what you're trying to do is probably one of the hardest things I could possibly imagine. And
I stay very skeptical when I go on investigations, especially when I'm dealing on the show. I mean, I take what everybody's telling me, especially the client or the eyewitnesses, because what happens is, when you first get there, you meet the client for the first time, and that's all real. They don't allow us to meet the client or anybody before they start shooting us. So we get there, client walks out, Brandon and I meet him or her, and they start walking us, and we go on the tour. And they tell us everything, and I stay very skeptical of everything they tell me, because you don't know what they were going through at the moment this happened, when whatever the experience happened. So I keep a very open mind. It's not that I don't believe them; it's just I want to experience it for myself. Sometimes I'd rather not know anything, just so I can, whatever evidence I capture, I could take back and then line up with what their experiences were and say, okay, so I knew nothing about this, and this is what I captured, and this is what you're saying happened. So there's got to be something there. So there's got to be something going on. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. We have to. We hear all the stories, and we hear all the
break the mold, dude. Tell them to break the format. Go in there and investigate it first, and then sit down and do the interview. Just has anybody discussed that?
No, I don't think we have, because it's just been the way they've always done it on the show. It's always been, you meet the client, you hear and I think it has a lot to do because that's how the show runs itself. You hear all this amazing stories this client's telling you, and then you try to take all that eyewitness reports, you try to recreate them and debunk them. That's one thing, it's great about the season 2. Yeah, there is debunking involved, but we don't always just jump right into that. We jump right into a full-on investigation. As soon as we're done with the client, it's boom, right into investigation mode. Everybody's, it's running and gunning, and that's what I like about the way we're doing it now, the new format from season 1 to season 2. It's a lot of run and gun, man. You're just you're on the move, and the camera guys are having to keep up with you wherever you go, whatever you do. And it's more guerrilla style, and I just like it that way. I think it's the best way of doing it.
Yeah, I mean, the less scripted it is, but the more methodical, and the more you try to keep the same protocols together as far as doing a proper investigation, I think is definitely been a staple what Ghost Hunters has been trying to do. Do we have any questions in chat? If not, I got another question. Okay. Help, Missy?
Yeah, we have no questions.
Okay. Okay, I just lost my train of thought. What was it? Crap, I've lost it. So I'm just gonna switch gears here altogether, Daryl, real quick. Yeah. Is there a point in time where Ghost Hunters production crew showed up, they've done their vetting, that sounds like a good show, everybody seems like they're legit, credible, you go in there, nothing happens, you don't get anything. What do you guys do?
We luckily we have not really had it happen yet. We've always caught some kind of evidence, whether it be just something small or something big. But usually, when you're hearing some of these stories that are being told to you by the client or by the eyewitnesses, yes, they're really elaborated. They're larger than life, and you try to put a lid on that a little bit. But when then all of a sudden all you capture is maybe an EVP or somebody like audible footsteps, but they're saying they're seeing full body apparitions. It doesn't mean that they're not seeing those things. It just means we didn't capture them, or we weren't there long enough. And sometimes when they're seeing these things, they could be residual. They could only happen only once a year or once a month or once a week if it's residual. There's no rhyme or reason to it, and we just didn't happen to be there at the right time to capture it. But when you get the intelligent hauntings, is when it can happen anywhere in the house. It can happen anywhere on the property. They have they can move around, and sometimes you can capture stuff in places where the client's saying it's not happening. There's been certain locations we went to where they'll say a certain this room is really active, and I always get leery about that, because if it's intelligent, why is that room the only one that's active and the rest of the house isn't? So, and the crazy thing is, we'll go into different parts of the house that nothing's ever happened, and we'll get some of the best evidence, that we've ever got. So I've lost my train of thought too, man.
Well, we're kind of talking about what would happen what would happen if Ghost Hunters arrived, you're planning to shoot this episode, and then you get nothing. So
yeah,
that hasn't happened. Yeah,
it just hasn't really happened. We've always gotten something we can show the client so far, thank God. That right there, I can really thank the producers out in LA for that, because that's them vetting the people who are submitting these places and need help, because they're really they're really doing their homework and really looking into it as far as the eyewitnesses are involved and the clients involved, and they're actually figuring out that they actually are having activity happen on these houses or property.
They're the real ghost hunters.
yeah, that's right.
The whole crew's a ghost hunter, because to me they're probably, what are they asking for? Like photos, anything that they can show them as far as what evidence they have to present to them.
Yeah, you gotta have for them to even get to be serious about your case is you're going to have to, you can't just call and say, oh, my cat is seeing something in the corner every night. It's got to be, okay, look, my kids are scared. I'm scared. I'm getting ready to move out of my house, or I'm getting ready to leave this property, or we've had clients who are just people who worked on certain properties and they can't deal with it anymore. They like, I'm going to quit my job. I can't deal with this. And then, you have people, clients who are business owners where they can't keep people working for them because the activity, that people are scared and they don't know how to deal with it. So that's the one thing we do. We come in there and we try to figure out what's going on so we can educate them and leave them in a better place than we found them when we got there.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that you guys, because that's the best way to do it. I mean, that's what we, everybody that does this as a hobby or, independently, you try to find the hotspots. You try to find the locations that have all these claims and people go there all the time. They get all this evidence. But sometimes the really big locations are hard, like the Waverly Hills locations, because it's so vast. We found, our experience was we found it hard to come across, when it was really quiet, trying to get everybody quiet to hear something, what spots, because the whole place is not, bursting with activity. It's spontaneous, and you have to travel 80,000 square feet. It's hard.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about having, basically there's 3 teams, on the show. There's the 6 of us, not including Grant, and we're able to split up. Like if you have a place like a Waverly Hills that is huge, people don't realize how big that place is until you get there. You can look at all the pictures you want of it, unless you've ever been there, you're like, holy cow! Like you don't even realize. A lot of people, when you see the pictures, because it's so big, when they take a picture, you only see the front of the building, or what's actually really the back of the building, what you're really seeing. And you have this whole nother wing that goes out the backside of it. Place is massive, and that's one good thing about having 3 teams that can split up, and we do multiple runs all night long. Sometimes you might be doing 6 or 7 runs in different locations of the building when you have a place that big. And the crazy part is, on season 2, all our places are like that. They're all huge locations. There's one place we did that you'll see that at one point was 1 million acres.
Wow.
Yes. 1 million acres. That's how big it is. So, there's places like that. And there's places we've done that are in complete towns that we were there for a couple of weeks investigating different locations, 5 or 6 different buildings in the town. You can't do them all, of course, but you have a whole town telling you, okay, the whole town's on it. We're all having activity happen. What the hell is going on here? And then you try to find the most active locations, or the people who will actually let you into their location to investigate. So that's the one good thing about having 3 teams that can bounce around. And you get done one investigation, you take a 5 or 10 minute break, and you're back investigating again at another location on the other side of the property, and you're doing that for days on end. Yeah.
Oh God, I know. Daniel just asked a question on Facebook. If you want to read the question.
He said, "What is the most unique tool and method you have used in research?"
The most unique tool I cannot talk about.
Thanks a lot, Daniel.
Until the new season, I can tell you what the most unique tool is from season 1 that I really liked, and that's the EDIs, or the data recorders. They're well shielded. Our cell phones and walkie-talkies don't set them off like a tri-field. Your walkie-talkie will set a tri-field off.
Mm-hmm.
But the EDIs are nice because they have the temperature decrease and increase. They have humidity, they have pressure, they have EMF, they also have the vibration. They're multiple tool that's in one little box. They're amazing. And when you start, you're able to record all that, and it has a little chip in there, memory card that you put in, and you can actually pull that out and stick it in your computer, and you can see. So when you're getting an EVP, or you're hearing footsteps walk across the room, and all of a sudden you're getting pressure spikes and temperature increases or decreases all at the same time, and vibrations, you can put it all together. This all happened in this 5-second period. So you can kind of correlate that this is what happens. You're getting pressure increases at the same time you're hearing these footsteps, or you're getting this EVP, or you're seeing this apparition.
Right.
That's one of my favorites from season 1. But season 2, man, it's a whole nother level. And wait till you see some of this stuff.
Yeah, the EDI Plus, where I'm definitely lucky that Josh was able to build a light for a guy that's wanting to trade.
Oh, nice.
We traded a dead light for it, and I'm like, oh, thank God, because we had the dark matter meter for a while. We had a former member that had one, and when she left the group, I was like, oh no, that was the greatest thing ever. I don't know if you've ever heard about it or have used one,
No,
but it's like 1,000 times better than an EDI. Some nerdy like ITT tech dude built maybe like a couple dozen of them and dropped off the face of the earth, so they're rare.
Oh, okay.
But if you come across anything, this little meter that kind of looks like an EDI Plus, but it's black and it's called a dark matter meter, you better buy it, Daryl. And if they want $1,000 for it, you better pay for it.
Okay. I'll keep an eye out for them.
But buddy, unfortunately, I have exhausted the 2 hours. That's all I'm going to take from your life. Why don't you do any type of plug or shout out that you want to right now?
Yeah. I mean, just go check us out. Season 2, guys, April 8th. It's going to be a 2-part episode from 8 to 10 that night. Also, we'll be at the Glen Tavern Inn in California this Saturday. Doors open at 3. There are some tickets still available. Come check us out. If you're in the California area, you'll have a great time. The whole team will be there. We're going to be doing a full investigation, a Q&A session, and meet and greet. And there's going to be cocktails and things of that nature there. And just check it out. I'm all over the place. I'm doing events everywhere. I've got a bunch coming up in March in Illinois, Nebraska, a bunch in April in Virginia, and some other places. So go check us out. Go check me out. Like I said, I'm all over the place. I want to thank you guys for having me on tonight. It's been amazing. It's been a long time since we spoke, Justin. So, yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
I'm just glad that I didn't make you feel stupid this time. Remember, you used to say that. No. There's no way. You didn't have any look of stupidity this whole 2 hours. So. But see, it's me asking you questions this time. It's not, me in front of a mic, putting all my techno babble out there. So thanks very much, man. I appreciate you 1,000 times. Can't wait for the Battlefield Bash where we can hang out for 3 days. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, that's July what?
20... July 24th, 25th, 26th, if I remember right.
Yeah, if you're in the Gettysburg area, if you're not, come out. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be a lot of really cool people there.
Absolutely. All right, Daryl. If you want to get off here, that's cool. But if you want to just hang out on the call while I wrap up the show, you can do that too.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll wait.
All right. My audio probably sucks right now since I changed scenes. Thank you so much for enduring all of these audio issues I've had throughout the show. Please check out Ghost Hunter Season 2 when it comes out. Please go to the events, help support the show. They're really trying to do the best possible paranormal work on the largest platform they possibly can. And just support Daryl and everybody else on the crew. Do everything you can to help that show continue with more seasons and everything. Real quick, we're going to take a look at these links. Interface Death is our paranormal website, darylmarston.com. We're going to make him update his website, so go there and check out his website. Go check out his social media. It's linked in the video description. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Instagram, Twitch, all that. And last but not least, let's thank our Patreon supporters. Let's start off by thanking Nasaba and Spirit Stalker Afterlife for their donations during the stream. It's very much appreciated. But let's extend our thanks to Clay Borman, Scotty Fox, Katie Turner, RJ Murphy, Casey Schreiner, Deadlight LLC, Jessica Bias, Paranormal Reporter, Joe Vitelli, Heather Elliott, Betty Kegley, Cherry Capital Shadow Seekers, Kelly McConkey, the Ghost Guild, Anthony Grothis, and General 7. They are the ones that help us out financially to keep this show going, to maybe fix the audio issues for next time. I'm going to be busy with that. No Friday show this week. Daughter's birthday. We're celebrating Friday, and me and Chris here are celebrating our wedding anniversary this weekend, so we'll be back at it again next Tuesday. And that's where I'm going to leave it. You guys are great. Ghost Hunter Season 2, Daryl Marston. It's lit, everybody. You guys have a good one. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Do you have that drive? That morbid curiosity to explore the darkness? Do you have what it takes to brave the night? You do? Good. Dead light. For those who aren't afraid to see what lurks in the night.
Is anyone out there?
We're the first people to investigate here.
There have been thousands of people who have died here. We're 100 miles from the closest interstate. Emergency personnel can't be here right away. Welcome to Fort Stanton.
How many believe they've had a paranormal experience? Wow.
This is new technology that we utilize for capturing the Holy Grail in paranormal research. What the hell is that? Oh, look, it just appeared again.
You gotta be careful, guys. It's a dangerous situation here.
Let's watch this area. This is the most mind-boggling thing I've ever seen.
Ghost Hunters 2-hour premiere Wednesday, April 8th at 8 on A&E.
Hey Ghost Hunters fans, be sure to subscribe to the A&E YouTube channel for more paranormal content and catch full episodes on A&E or aetv.com.
Back off now. In God's name, back off.
You go back to your bathroom, you stay back there.
I got you. Don't fucking touch me! Fuck! Okay. Leave me the fuck alone! Okay, sweetie. Okay. Open the door, get the door. Open the door, let's get her out of here.
Get the door.
God! Leave me alone! 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 Leave me alone!
Get out of here!
Ow! I can't move my feet! I can't move my feet! In God's name, out of here now!
This is Jason Bland, host of Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, where we stream live as a webcast every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, with guests who will blow your mind. Live ghost box sessions where you can call into the show to see if the spirits will talk to you, and the world wide web of weird with the latest in paranormal news and evidence. We're bringing the weird every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.
You're not afraid of the dark, are you?
Hillary.
What?
What's going on with this building?
Everything.
A lot of people will come here and get messages from loved ones.
This place was holistic. If you come back up here, I will push you to your death.
You're going to die in there.
Something just like flew at me. Something big and like gray.
Whoa, 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 I just saw someone fucking turn the step.
Did you hear that? I'm not doing like this. I just want this on the record. Mike's gonna see something in that mirror. This took a big 180. I hope this doesn't change our approach.